I spent most of last weekend on my couch crying. I'm going to tell you why. But what I'm likening this energy to that's going on right now on the planet, all the stars and all the things that are happening, it's, as someone clairvoyant, a person who I can feel, see, hear all of the pain of the collective, which includes all the sentience, the animals, the trees, not just myself, my own human pain. It's kind of what I'm understanding is like what it is, like a toothpaste. Like what's happening for all of us is like we're squeezing the toothpaste all the way out, and all of our crap is being brought to the surface to come out. So I have a little story, and the point of sharing this now, I've spent almost all last week, or last Friday night, it started with a sea lion that I noticed was on the edge of the shore from my terrace, swirling around, and a man allowing two of his dogs to terrorize the sea lion. So I ran down there without shoes, without a phone or anything, and I asked him, not so nicely, really, what's wrong with you? Why would you do that? And he wouldn't get his dogs away, so I pulled his dogs off the sea lion, and the sea lion got pulled back in the water. Bear with me with this story, because there's a powerful reason for sharing it. And the water, while I was getting the dogs away, came up and pulled the sea lion back in the water. And he wasn't even trying to save himself, but so he was just drowning, basically. And two other men, there were a lot of people, of course, just taking pictures and getting close to it, doing that without helping. But two men helped, and I had dove in the water to push the sea lion, huge sea lion, out. And I said to him, please don't bite me. I'm just trying to help you. And he didn't try to bite at any of us during this entire several hours. And we kept trying to roll him up as we were waiting for help. And it was excruciating for me because I'm an ex-paramedic, and all I kept thinking is like, I wish there was something I could do to help beyond just this. And as someone who can communicate with animals, this adds another layer of excruciation, if that's even a word, I don't know. But I'm trying to just come from my heart with this video. And we were kneeling with him as he was having seizures, and because that's what this poison does. There's a lot of toxins have transformed the algae. The regular bloom has turned into this poison, and anything that eats fish is dying or coming close to dying, and it attacks the neurological system, the brain. And so there's seizures. It's the most excruciating death. And I've watched it over this past 9 days. And it's horrible. So everyone wants to blame the runoffs of the fire only, or it's the homeless people leaving their trash, or it's this, everyone's pointing fingers. Part of it is the water level has raised, and it's pulled a lot of the trash off of the rocks that are all along the river, that are all along the shore. The trash that's out on the beach is disgusting. And that's because of us. So I don't want to digress, but I want to share with you how what bit of toothpaste for me got squeezed out last week as I was kneeling beside the sea lion with 2 other men in the dark now, soaking wet from being in and out of the ocean, and it was freezing cold, talking to this poor sea lion, asking it to hang in there as he kept seizing and seizing. We told him that we were sorry on behalf of all of us, and that we loved him, and that he was a beautiful, beautiful being. And that's all we could do, was hold the space for him while we were hoping help would come. And it didn't come, and he died. And it's emotional even talking about, because also just this morning a whale died in the harbor right behind me. And that's a whole nother thing. But we, as a collective, there's not enough of us helping or trying to help, because if there was, this wouldn't be happening. So it's not an accusation, it's just literal, the truth. So what happened for me, I was, obviously it's so upsetting, but I was so deeply triggered because of the energies as well, on top of just the normal response, at least for me, to an animal suffering because of us and our inability to pick up our trash and to really deeply care about the earth and all the beings on it, the animals, the plants, trees, the water, like everything. We don't even care about each other, not really. The cruelty that is out there in the world right now, the comments on social media, we've completely lost our way. And so back to how I was triggered, I realized I was like sobbing on the couch, and I was just letting myself, and I was praying, and I was asking for spirit, and I, to show me what was going on. And I remembered a call. I hadn't thought of it. It's 20 years ago, this call, where myself and my partner, paramedic partner, responded to a woman hemorrhaging. And the fire captain, by the time we got there, was walking this woman out. And I won't go into all of, like, he shouldn't have been walking her out. She was pouring blood. She had her robe on down. She had, yeah. And it was clear something was really seriously going on. And he handed me a plastic garbage bag, grocery bag. And he said, here. He just like gave it to me, and he said, here. She said that she had a miscarriage, and she wrapped it in, the clot in this. I know it's probably triggering for some people, but like, this is also the truth of the world that we live in. Most people have no idea what goes on every single day in the life of paramedics and firefighters and police officers, and what we are capable of doing to each other. And so I took his word that I said, "Did you checked?" And he said, "Yes, it's wrapped in this towel." So I took the bag from him, and then my partner and I started helping the woman. And we got her in the ambulance, and we were, got a line going, and we were trying to stabilize her. She was awake and responsive and talking, and she said that she didn't know how far along she was, but that she put the was like debris, is almost how she said it, in this bag. And so after we got her stabilized, I was the person that was going to be driving the ambulance. So I wanted to have all my T's crossed, and I had put the bag on the jump seat, which is the seat behind the patient's head, the stretcher. And I said to my partner, I'm just going to look in the bag and, for the report, and, and then I'm going to get underway. And I opened the bag, and I opened the towel, and just to be able to describe this clot. And I saw a little foot sticking out of the sac. And the sac hadn't even been open yet, but the foot was fully formed and the little tiny leg connected to it. And I immediately tore the sac open and pulled him out. It was a little boy. And I just started saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were in here. I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were in here. And I just like, everything I knew kind of left me. And I got him all the way out and I was cleaning him up and I just kept saying, I'm so sorry. And I put leads on him. I wiped him all up and I put leads to see, to make sure that certainly there was no way he was alive. He was wrapped in a towel in a plastic bag for who knows how long. Nobody knew. But I put leads on him and it was boop, boop. And I was like, this child is fighting for his life. And unbelievable. I'm trying not to go too deep into it because there's, I want to get to the point of this. So I called because I could have started a code. I mean, he was teeny tiny. So starting a code is like putting the tube down his throat, starting an IV, starting CPR, like, doing all those things. And, so I called the hospital and I asked, and I just said, first of all, you're going to have to tell me exactly what to do because I can't think. I didn't know this baby was in a bag. The firefighter told me, the captain told me, the mother who's right here told me it was just a clot. And should I start CPR? Should I run a code, or what should I do? And the nurse put me on hold and she came back and said, the doctor said, just come in, lights and sirens, and hold CPR, which meant let the baby die, basically. And so I went in, I wrapped him up and like swaddled him, and I held him on my lap all the way to the hospital, crying, tears pouring down my face. And, so we were met at the hospital and everybody, was there to hold space for us. And it was the first time, and I think the only time ever as a paramedic, we took ourselves out of service, or we were taken out of service to receive support and everything. I couldn't go back in the ambulance. I didn't understand then that I'm deeply connected to spirit, so the energy of that child was still in the ambulance. So I'm sharing that for two reasons, because we are all, no matter who we are, being deeply affected by these energies, and it is really time for us to heal, to face our shit, to look at our wounds, our triggers, our behavior, have compassion for them, pray through them, get support from people that are trustworthy and capable of holding the space for you as you hold the space for them. But I share this now because I just learned that the whale died as I was in a meeting this morning. After I spent my week pulling sea lions out of the water, standing guard for them to keep human beings from doing crappy things to these animals who are stranded and sick on the shore. People are cutting the heads off of dolphins, carving their names or initials in them, taunting them, terrorizing them. Stress brings out, causes these seizures for these poor sea lions. It's excruciating. They're terrified. They're sick. And I wanted to share all this today because I didn't feel like I did enough for that kid that baby, which that's up for me to continue to heal and release. And so I have to do enough for these sentient beings. I buried 21 pelicans in a couple of hours along this beach, 21 pelicans and other egrets and things like that. And as I was covering them with sand, I dug a hole for them in the sand. I was apologizing to them on our behalf, all of our behalf, because we're failing. We're not picking up our trash. It's a simple thing. Pick up your trash. Teach your children how to pick up the trash. They're the future. Don't pick it up for them so they don't have the experience of picking up their trash. Don't enable them to be people who can't take care of the earth and all the sentient beings. If you're getting them an animal, teach them how to take care of the animal. Don't do it for them. Otherwise, how can they take care of these beings? How can they have respect for anything? We have to stop being so cruel to each other. Like, it is out of control. Social media is the most toxic, the cruelty. But simple, like, pick up your trash. Understand that sentient beings have souls. They're spirit and body just like we are. They're brilliance. This is not only our place to be. We're actually the lowest on the chain of brilliance. We're so limited. So I had to do something to speak on behalf of what's happening right now, because I can't stand by and do nothing. I could pray, I can do all the things that I've been doing silently, behind the scenes, praying, sending light, doing what I can do to heal myself, have compassion for myself. You have to have compassion for yourself, because most people aren't going to have compassion for you, right? That's the world that we're living in. So something's got to change, and everything that we're seeing in politics and all the things we're marching for and all of these other things, like these things cannot come into existence without us all failing. We are a collective. Humanity is a collective. It's not that person, them, those, these people, this group of people, this Republicans, this, that. It's all of us. It's all of us are failing. I'm not going to go on and on about it. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut anymore. That's the best that I can do, is not enable a bunch of adults, because we can do better. Being kind is not enabling. Sometimes the truth, the hard truth, is the kindest thing that you can do. And it's the highest level of service that you can be in, is to just tell the truth.